In this first lesson, I'm going to show you an overview of the program and some of the interesting things you can do with it. This is the first lesson in a series for Word 2010, and I'll explain some of the features in much more detail in those future lessons. So with that covered, let's get started. When you open Microsoft Word 2010, you'll be confronted with the screen I'm looking at here. There's lots of things on it, and as we work through the course, you'll learn about those things. But just for now, with this being an overview, I'm going to get started and create the document. And the large white space on the screen is where I do that. So you'll see straight away the cursor is flashing away, and where that flashing cursor is the points that I will create my document from. So all I need to do now is start typing, and I'm going to type a letter, and I will start with the words "Dear Customer," type a comma, and once I've typed out my letter, I will come back to the beginning of the document and add some company information as well, but just for now I'm going to press the Enter key and I'll go to a new paragraph. One thing you'll notice is that Word has automatically created a space between the opening line and the new paragraph, so I'm ready to carry on typing, and I'm going to type out my letter to my customers. As I type out, if I make any mistakes, I'll explain how to correct them. So I'm delighted to be writing to you to introduce. Now you see there I've made a terrible mistake, and what I'm going to do now is just press the back delete key and go back to where I've made my mistake, and then I can simply carry on typing. So introduce our spectacular range of new tasty donuts. Full stop. So there's my first sentence. Now I didn't make any spelling mistakes there, well, apart from when I messed up introduce. But if I go back to spectacular, and I'm simply going to click into that word, it doesn't really matter where, and if I just press the delete key, not the back delete, the forward delete key, you'll see that I've made that word now incorrectly spelled. And if I just click away, whenever Microsoft Word encounters something it doesn't recognize, it'll underline it in red. So it's underlined this because it thinks it's spelled wrong. Now sometimes it might be a person's name that's unusual, or a place name, and you might not want to correct it, but you might want to add it to the word dictionary. So what I do here is simply put the mouse over the word, right mouse click, and you'll see at the very top we have spectacular, so I'm going to use that in a second. But a bit further down you have ignore all, and add to dictionary. So depending on what type of word it is, if it's an unusual name for example, you might say, well, add it to the dictionary, and if it comes up again, Word will just accept it as a correctly spelled name. You can choose to ignore it once or ignore all if you're typing something deliberately wrong, for example, that you might want to explain later. However, in this case, I'm simply going to click on the correct spelling. As soon as I do that, Word fixes the error. There'll be much more about correcting spelling and grammar in a future lesson, but just for now I'll carry on typing my letter. And now to get to the end of the line, I press the End key and I can carry on typing. So my next sentence is the table. Now you'll notice there that Word has automatically started a new line for me. It's in the same paragraph. Keep that in mind that as you type, you don't have to press the Enter key at the end of every line. Word will automatically go to a new line for you. So let's carry on. The table below shows you the variety. Now there I've made a spelling mistake again, so just use that back delete key, correct that, and we can carry on again. We have, and I hope there will be something. Now there's a common one that I've spelt something wrong, so the H and the T are the wrong way around. Let's hit the space bar, see what happens. Now what's interesting there is you'll notice that Word has automatically corrected that word for me. So it was spelt wrong, but without me doing anything, Word has corrected it. That's called autocorrect, and again, when we look at spelling and grammar correction in much more detail, we'll explore how that works, how you can switch it off if you don't like it, and so on. But for now we'll carry on. There, whoops, another spelling mistake. But you can see if I do make a mistake how easy it is just to fix it and carry on again. Just use the back delete key and retype what I meant to type. And I'll finish that sentence with an exclamation mark. That's the end of my paragraph. I'm going to press the Enter key now. Here is where my table of donut information will be. However, I'm not going to enter the table just yet. I'm going to put a placeholder. I'm just going to type the words table of donuts. get that spelled right. And I'll type placeholder just to remind me that it's something to come back and fix later on. So I'll leave that there, press the enter key and type a new paragraph. My new paragraph then, as well as great tasting donuts, comma, ABC donuts also have great prices. Okay, so there again also I spelt wrong. I've got alos, and you'll notice the Word did not automatically correct that, so again I can simply right click, choose also. However, I'm going to leave that for now. I'll just press the escape key and I'll fix that when I've typed the rest of my document. It is a good idea just to type all your text in first of all rather than worry about fixing things as you go. Unless it's a simple fix, just use the back delete key and then carry on. But if you typed and you notice you've got a few red squiggly lines, carry on typing anyway and then fix all the errors at the end. Otherwise you find stopping and starting will affect your train of thought, and you can sometimes forget what you meant to write in the first place, which is even worse than making a few mistakes, because you can fix those at the end. Whereas if you have something profound to say and you lose your train of thought because of a few spelling errors, well, you may never get that thought again, so keep that in mind. I'm going to use the magic of video editing now to go through and complete the next few paragraphs of the letter, so you'll see them magically being written. And the main thing to observe is that the word processor automatically wraps the text around to a new line within the same paragraph. When you come to the end of a paragraph, press the enter key and Word will automatically add a space between paragraphs for you. So those are the two key things to keep in mind as you type. So they're my final two paragraphs, and if I press the enter key now, I'm going to do the final part of the letter. Type yours faithfully. And remember, it's faithfully if you haven't referred to a person's name, and sincerely if you have referred to a person's name at the beginning. Press the enter key a couple of times and maybe leave space for a signature. And finally, type the name of the boss. And I want the name of the business to go underneath the name, but I want it to be immediately underneath the name with no space. Now if here I hold down the shift key and press enter, I don't get a new paragraph, I get a new line. And I can then simply type in my company name like so. So there is the completed letter. If I just use the scroll bar, you can scroll up and down if you have a lot more information on your letter. You can also use the page down and page up key to scroll about, and you can use the arrow keys on the keyboard as well just to move up and down the document like so. Before I go any further, I'm going to fix that spelling error. Now you're seeing how I could just right click on the word, but here I'm going to press the F7 key on the keyboard. Now F7 launches the spell and grammar checker, and you'll see there it's picked up my alos as having an error. And here are the suggestions below. The very first one is the one I want. There are other ones in the list as well, just in case you think something else would be appropriate. And to change that to also, I simply click on the change button, and then it jumps to the name of Jim Bloggs. Doesn't recognize that. It's thinking it might Boggs instead of Blogs possibly. Now here of course Blogs is correct. I'm simply going to say add to the dictionary. So the next time it comes across Mr. Bloggs, it won't see that as a spelling error. So click OK, and we're done. So scroll back up and you'll see now the correction in place. Now one thing I haven't done yet, which is very important, is save the document. And to save, I can come up to the save button, which is the top left of the window. Just click on that. Just move that dialog box back into view. You'll notice that a name has already been put in there for me. And what Word does is take the first line of the document and use that to create a file name. I don't want that, so I'm going to call it ABC Donuts. I'm going to call it a promo letter. And then just click Save. And if you look in the title bar now, you'll see the name of the document is featured. If I do make some changes now and need to correct it, all I do is click on the Save button again, and that will overwrite the previous version. I can also type Ctrl S on the keyboard, and you can also go to the File tab and choose the Save option or Save As option here as well if you prefer. So go back to the Home tab for now. The next thing I'm going to do with this document is go back to my Table of Donuts placeholder and add in that table. So if I just move the mouse pointer to the left of that line, you'll see the mouse pointer changes from the I-beam shape to an arrow, an inward pointing arrow. As soon as I get the arrow, just click, it'll select the whole line, press the delete key, and I'm going to now press the enter key again to create some space. Just press the up arrow and you'll see now my flashing cursor is right about where I want it between those two paragraphs. To add the table, I go to the Insert tab and you'll see there the table option. If I click on the drop down arrow, I have a large grid, and here I can create the template for my table. Now it happens that I want 3 columns, so I move across 1, 2, 3, and I want 4 rows initially, so I'm going to come down 1, 2, 3, 4. And you'll also notice on the page I have a live preview as well as I select, and you can see the table building. So if I just click on the bottom right of that selection now, there's a table on the page. Now I don't want my table to be as wide as that, so I'm going to put the mouse pointer at the top left over that 4-way arrow. Just click, that selects the whole table. You'll notice here I've got a new tab that says underneath Table Tools, Design and Layout. If I click on the Layout tab, I've got my cell width option here. I'm going to reduce that to 1.5 inches, so that's fine. I can also go to the Home tab, and in the paragraph section you'll find my alignment tools, left, center, right and so on. I'm simply going to click on the center button and that centers the table on the document for me. I'm then simply going to click in the first cell and I'm ready to start entering information. So the first row will have my labels for each column. So the first label is donut. I'm going to press the tab key to move across to the next cell, type price, tab key again, and type family pack in the third cell, press the enter key, and then between brackets I'm going to have 4 donuts so people know they're getting a bargain. I'm going to press the tab key again, and you notice that now jumps me to the beginning of the next row of the table. So I can now enter my donut varieties. The first one is chocolate, and now instead of going across I'm going to press the down arrow key, and that'll move me to the next row in the first cell of the next row. Type banana, down arrow key again, and type jam, and I've got actually one more donut I'd like to enter. So here I can press the tab key to move across, and as soon as I press it again in the last cell of the table it creates a new row, and I can type in there custard. Use the up arrow key to come to the chocolate cell, press the tab key, and I'm ready to put my prices in. Now as it happens, the price for the single donut and the family pack are all the same, so I'm going to type in there $1 for a single donut, tab across, type in $3 for a family pack donut, and here I can select these 2 cells. If I just put my mouse pointer at the beginning of the dollar symbol there, I can click and drag across like so. Once they're all highlighted, I'm going to type Ctrl+C, keyboard shortcut, come to the next cell down, the price for banana. I'm going to press Ctrl+V, and you'll see it pastes in that information. Click into jam, Ctrl+V again to paste, and then click into the custard price, Ctrl+V, and there's information pasted again. Copying and pasting, a very common thing to do in a word processor, something we'll look at in much more detail in a future lesson. And just to let you know that on the Home tab you'll see cut, copy and paste in the clipboard section, so you have easy access to those if you prefer to use the buttons instead of the keyboard shortcuts. Okay, so let's come back to the document. I'm going to now type Control and Home, and you'll observe that when I do that the cursor goes to the very beginning of the document. I now want to create some space at the beginning, so I'm going to press the enter key a couple of times and then just use the up arrow key to go to the start of the document. And I'm going to type the name and address of the business, which, as you've probably guessed by now, is ABC Donuts. I'm going to press the enter key for the next line of the address, which is 42 Festive Road. Press the enter key again, and the town we'll say is Niceville. Okay, so I can then select these 3 lines. Again, you notice the shape of the mouse pointer as I move to the left. As soon as I get the arrow, I can click and drag down. I'm going to center those lines. I'm also going to go to the paragraph line spacing section and go to my line spacing options here. Where it says after, that's the spacing that Word is putting in automatically for me. I'm going to highlight that and change that to 0. Just click OK. As you see, that now brings those lines closer together. And if I come up to the font section, you'll see I have a drop down option here where I can choose the size, and you'll see the live preview on screen. Alternatively, I can use this large A here, and as I click on that, you'll see the text increasing in size, and I can decrease by clicking the smaller A with the downward pointing arrow, and so on. However, I'm just going to select a size by clicking the drop down arrow, choose 24. I'm also going to apply bold formatting by clicking the B button there. Bold formatting is applied. And while I'm in formatting mood, I'm going to come to my table. I'm going to select the first row, make my labels on the table bold, and I might also apply a background shading to that table. So if I go to the Design tab on Table Tools, click on the Shading drop down, we'll just choose this tan colour as they call it, so click on that. And if I also go to the Layouts on the table again, and here I have some alignment options for text within the cell. I'm going to align center vertically and horizontally by clicking the button there, and just click away. That makes the table a bit neater, and I really should also center my other 4 rows there, so I can just select those again. You can see the shape of the mouse pointer and simply click and drag down. And again here I can simply either go to the layout option, choose center, or I can go to the home tab and choose center. It doesn't really matter. You'll see that my text is centered in the cells nicely. I think finally we'll add some images just to spice up the document a little bit. If I go to the Insert tab here, go to Clip Art, and I can type in the word donut, and we'll see what we find. Just click Go. And this clip art, by the way, is coming from office.com, so it's online content. Now if I click in this box of donuts here, just click it once, you'll see it appear on the screen. I don't really want it there. You'll also notice when the picture's highlighted, I have a new tab, Picture Tools. If I go to this Wrap Text drop down, just click on that, and I'm going to choose In Front of Text. And what that means is the image will now float anywhere in the document, and I can resize it, position it wherever I choose. I'm going to resize by putting the mouse pointer to the bottom right, and then just click and drag to shrink that down. I'll position that over on the left. We'll see if we can find one more image to use. And there's a nice one with some donuts and a coffee mug. If I just click on that, again it's in the wrong place and it's too big, so I'm just going to change it as well to go in front of text, resize that, and then we'll position that over on the right. Again, images we will look at in much more detail in a future lesson, so it's just to give you a quick overview and indication of some of the things you can do here. If I now close that clip art down, just click on the X, click away from my document, and there we see the result. As well as scrolling up and down to view the content, I can see the whole page by clicking on the zoom option here where it says 100%. Just click on that, and I can click on the whole page option, click OK, and you can get a quick, although you can't read it, you can now see the layout of the page and decide whether that looks nice enough or not. And I can also type on here, so if I click at the beginning of the Dear Customer, I could press the Enter key a few times and just move my content down if I prefer that layout. And I can come back to the zoom option, and I can click on the plus or minus to zoom in and out, or I could click on the zoom level and choose 100%, click OK. And there we are, there's the completed document. So there's a quick overview of how to enter text, how to edit text, add a table, add some pictures, and obviously do a bit of formatting as well. And most importantly, as you create a work, remember to save the document on a regular basis. There is an auto-save feature built into Word that will save your documents roughly every 10 minutes, but it's still a good idea to do it yourself as well. So I hope you enjoyed this overview and you've learned a few things about Microsoft Word that you didn't know previously. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.